was on Trefilov. That was the concern for the Russians. A 7-4 win for them over Canada, and Trefilov was brilliant.
Rob Hearn, the American, will be the referee in today's game. The linesmen, also from America, are Jay Borman and Brewster Earl. Everyone going back to have words with the Russian goaltender. And at the other end of the rink, the Swedes are doing the same. They have one bite at the cherry. The winner gets gold, the loser gets silver. We already know that the Czech Republic have bronze. They beat the Canadians 5-1. And we're set for the face-off on this one. The Russians will be playing from left to right. Both teams will be going for a full 60 minutes. There's no way they're going to relax in this one. A couple of games, teams from both groups have been criticized in this tournament for not putting in 100%. It's been a long 2 weeks for these guys out there. You got to remember that they have completed their seasons and their playoffs. Some of them have gone 84 games in the National Hockey League, and they're quite tired, but I'm sure they've been saving it for this one.
The captain, number 9 for Sweden, Thomas Rundqvist, and his line get the start. Michael Renberg and Mikael Andersson on the wings. The Russians, without much surprise, Komatov, Bykov, and Butseyev up front for Russia.
Butseyev has been working well with Bykov and Komatov. These two are well into their 30s, and they certainly can perform out there. Butseyev is only 22, and he's learning a lot. He's playing well. Butseyev takes the first hit as that comes down into Swedish territory. Stillman picks up the puck and shoots it right into neutral ice territory. And the Russians gather and hit the blue line. Komatov works slowly along the boards. Komatov with Butseyev. Komatov a chance, takes the shot, goes by the far corner. And the Swedes allowing Komatov to skate freely out there. Rundqvist goes after him, gets the stick in. Rundqvist still smiling from that overtime goal that he scored against the Czechs the other day. Puts it up on the wing to Andersson, and that's cleared out of the zone all the way down the ice.
Both teams will play it tight around their own goals. Each side's very quick, and they like to do the wraparound.
Diakin taken out of the play along the boards, and the Swedes, with Berglund unable to control that, are called for icing here in the first period. One or two words, but the American officials get in between the players. And I hope that referee Rob Hearn lets this one flow. We don't want to see any chippy penalties. We want to see a good flowing hockey game.
20-year-old Nicolishin getting involved away from the play right away, getting himself into this game. Big hit earlier along the boards. Diakin going down hard. Skate coming up. Close call for Andersson. Mikael Andersson could have been hurt badly on that one.
Titov steps into the circle for the Russians. Face-off in Swedish territory as Soderstrom gets set. Forsberg couldn't keep it in. Titov got it back, and the shot came whistling by the goal, and the Swedes now pick it up. Big Popovich working with Dahlin. Popovich takes a hit, but shoves it in with 1:14 gone on the first period. Still no real shots on goal. Back on the far side. Titov takes the shot. And again, it whistles wide of the cage. Rebound comes all the way back in. Andersson keeps it away from Karpov, and the Swedes get it just above the hash marks with Dahlin clearing it out of the zone. Titov way back on the D, gives it to Karpov. Back to Titov. Titov breaking in on the left side. Soderstrom goes down, and that's in. Oh, a big break by Titov on the far side, allowed to walk in on the left wing.
Titov, the Russian that the NHL scouts are talking a lot about, on the move on the left side, walking around Popovich. Soderstrom appears to have the play under control, but as the puck gets to him, it comes back off Titov. Soderstrom down and out of the play, isn't going to have a chance. The puck goes up and over Tommy Soderstrom. Titov has the first goal of this game.
1-0, the Russians take an early lead. with Titov picking up his 4th goal of the competition. Mikhailov, the coach, looking unmoved on the bench. 1:39 the time of the goal. And the Swedes with Blomsten shoving it to the far side. The return pass. And Titov drops it, or Blomsten drops it back. Long pass up the middle. Forsberg couldn't hang on to that. Blomsten again getting in there. Forsberg falling, tried to slam it over to the far side at the second attempt. Forsberg hits the blue and runs into Karpatsev. A chance again for the Russians as they move in. Long shot. Soderstrom handles that and smothers it for the face-off. It's good to see that Petrenko is back in the lineup for the Russians. He missed a game through injury.
Nikolitin filling in nicely in Petrenko's absence. Doing an excellent job with Yashin and Kaminsky, but Petrenko is fit and back into the game. You're right, Paul, that is a good stroke of luck for the Russians. This guy's got a lot of talent.
Face off again in Swedish territory. The shot coming in from Beritsky. That's gloved down by number 20, Larson. Larson feeds it over, and the Swedes now get it into Russian territory. It's been a long time since they've done that. Sending it up, the Russians coming back on the D, the pass right in front. Look at all the red shirts back. And now Beritsky feeds it up onto the right side. The tip there doesn't work for the Russians, and Larson throws it all the way back onto the D. Sweden now coming out of numbers, hit their own blue line, coming up to the red. Everyone going back for the Russians. The big tip there by Sapoznikov. That comes out front. The shot is wide of the target, right at the side of the net. And Yulin is out there, unable to get wood on it. Picked up by now Astrakhantsov. He flips it all the way in. Soderstrom comes out to tap it and leave it behind the net. Stillman to the far side. Rundqvist is way back in his own zone. Rundqvist back over to Stillman, and here come the Swedes. Long pass up in the neutralized territory. Dahlin is breaking. Dahlin being shoved off the puck by Shendelev, and Bykov back there. Shendelev getting back in a hurry on Dahlin. Dahlin really has been aggressive since coming over from the NHL. Whistle on the play, and we'll have a face-off in Russian territory.
It's the first time in this game that the Russians have had to at least panic to any degree. They've had the pressure on Soderstrom. The Swedes beating the Russians 5-2 in preliminary play, you would have thought would come out more collected and calm, but the Russians are the ones looking smoother right now.
Khomatov almost got through Anderson right on the blue. That bobbled. Rundqvist tried to put it over to Dahlin. That took a deflection. Khomatov again on the right side gets the puck. Khomatov with 2 great moves. A 3rd great move puts it over. Byakin fed it through, and Åkerström picks it up and gives it to Dahlin. Dahlin breaks down the right side. Byakin trying to get back on him. And the Russians certainly are skating in this first period. They're up and down the ice, doing some good offense and defensive work out there. 4:07 gone on the period. 1-0, the Russians with a goal from Titov. Titov back out there, took a hit from Nylander. Titov picks himself up very, very slowly. And we'll have another face-off on the play. Dieter Hagen telling Chancellor Helmut Kohl the various strategies out there as the Russians bring it forward. Titov is hit again in the neutral zone. This time it was Blomsten who laid him flat. Berglund for Sweden, being shadowed there by Nikolitin. Pass up to Blomsten. Blomsten has the big stride, flips it in the corner. Ardo Blomsten goes up against Smirnov. Blomsten still in there, now works back onto the point. The Russians with 3 guys in the near side flip it out of the zone. Blomsten got the touch, and that goes all the way down the ice. Larson is back for it. Nylander goes in front of the net. And the Swedes trying to get something going. Åkerström in front of his own goal. Long pass up to Dahlin. Dahlin gives it to Nylander. Nylander, a great playmaker, throws it out front, but that wasn't a great pass.
Nylander off to his slowest start so far. This guy has been buzzing in every game. He's been the creator of many opportunities for the Swedes. At this point, Dahlin is trying to take the Russians on by himself. Nylander's got to get himself into the game.
Naslund in the corner gives it to Forsberg, who throws it all the way back to the blue. A good pass over to Stillman. Stillman lets the shot go. And Petrenko got in front of that. And the Russians now, Yashin a chance. Fed it right across the goal. And Naslund picks it up, taps it forward. And the Russians and the Swedes going for a change, with Stillman having a golden opportunity to get the puck through. Unable to do it. Some good defensive stuff for the Russians. Quick counters from both teams, and the Russians come back on the attack. Larson goes after his man. The pass through is not a good one, and the Russians now go back on the defensive. Long shot from Larson. Trefilov gloves it down. And that trickles away all the way down into Swedish territory. Anderson. Peter Anderson takes it from the red line, pops it into the far corner. Going after it is Kaminsky. Nilsson is there, along with Yulin. And Trefilov gloves it down.
The Russians are not allowing the Swedes to skate in and out of the corners like they've been used to in their past couple of games. The body is being taken all over the ice. And especially in the corners, they're keeping the Swedes way to the outside. They're not getting any kind of shots on Trefilov at all.
Kurt Lundmark pacing with his book of plays and notes in front of the bench. Most coaches like to stand behind the bench. Some in European hockey go in front of the players. For me, that would be a very, very dangerous place to stand. Trefilov pounces on that one, and we'll have another face-off.
Trefilov, who was questionable in the early games, with a 90.2% saves record right now, and one shutout, has established himself very quickly as one of the leading goalies in the tournament, probably second to Breeza right now.
Without a doubt, Breeza is number one. Bykov, a nice little back pass up on the wing to Butseyev. Khomatov back to Shendelev. That's intercepted by Yulin, but the Russians definitely are skating here in the first period. Can they keep the pace up for 60 minutes? They're pushing the Swedes back as that goes all the way down the ice. Soderstrom just lets it ride, and we'll have another icing call. Both teams will have a change.
The Russians with 5 men back deep. There certainly is nothing wrong with that. Didn't really have any place to go. 3 Swedes on the attack. The safe thing to do is just take the pressure off. The Russians are so disciplined and smart. They know exactly what to do. They're making it easy for themselves right now.
From the face-off, that goes back to Yushkevich. He taps it along the boards. A nice little pass up from Pushkov. Smirnov right on the blue. This is good. Karpov right in front. What do they score? Nikolishin. Oh, that was very pretty indeed.
Nikolishin and Karpov, what a play. Karpov has been brilliant for the Russians. Always has his head up, an excellent playmaker. Dishes it off, gets it back, lays it right back to Nikolishin. This is a goal for the kids to watch. You don't have to be a superstar. Give and go. Nikolishin, Karpov, back to Nikolishin. Goal number 2 for Russia.
The Swedes beat the Russians 5-2 in the preliminary round, and they said before this game that they felt confident. But right now, the Swedes are trailing by 2 with 7:20 gone on the first period.
A couple of players coming together again off the puck. Yashin banging together with Berglund. Nothing became of it. The linesman in there quickly. Neither team are going to want to get caught in penalty situations. They're going to stay out of the box and play it tough and fast.
At the start of this competition, this guy here, Boris Mikhailov, came under a lot of fire. They said he wasn't a Tikhonov who stepped down after 14 years. In his first game here, he tied the Italians 2-2. They then went on to barely beat the Austrians 4-2, got better against the Swiss 6-0, lost to the Swedes 5-2, and then were beaten by the Canadians 3-1. Things were not looking good for the Russians, and in particular Mikhailov. In the next round, they hammered the Germans 5-1 and then beat the Canadians soundly 7-4. Here he is in the final. He certainly knows when to come good.
Well, it's one thing to win, that's the object of the game, but you've got to enjoy your hockey as well. And in my opinion, the Russians are enjoying their hockey a bit more. You see guys smiling on the bench, they're high-fiving it, they're patting each other, something you would never see when Tikhonov was coaching. I realize he was successful, but these guys look like they are having fun, and they're still winning hockey games.
That's the name of the game out there. I wonder how much the Swedes are enjoying this one. Hey, we still have a long way to go in this. 53 minutes of ice hockey. Anything can happen.
The Swedes are cool, calm, and collected as well. They're the reigning champions. They had the Czechs come back on them and tie them very late in the game. You would have thought that the Czechs were on the roll and the momentum was with them. The Swedes casually came back out on the ice, and Rundqvist scored the winner in overtime.
Anderson all the way in and then all the way out again. The Russians quickly back on the attack. Popovich goes after his man. Forsberg is there to help out. 3 Swedes in the corner. Popovich drops it back. A little pressure coming now from Astrakhantsov. Astrakhantsov drops high, and the Swedes come out. Anderson fakes one way, goes the other way. A chance for Sweden from the red line. They flip it in. Naslund goes after it. Naslund gets there, but Frolov beats him to it. Tapped up along the boards, and the Swedes unable to keep it in on the far side. Khomatov goes after Anderson. Popovich, who stands 6'5", pushes it along the boards. Forsberg tries to circle out. Look at the Russians over there. 1, 2, 3. Everybody going after that puck. No let up in the forechecking. Long pass up the middle, and again it goes all the way down the ice. The Swedes and the Russians are going for the quick break, and right now it's not working. The checking is just too close out there.
The Russian system used to always be very much zone hockey. Everybody had an area to cover. Now from time to time you will see the Russians going at the Swedes with 2 men at a time.
Face-off in Swedish territory. Larson gets it back to Nilsson. Nilsson has to go the other way. Blomsten comes in to help out, and the Swedes under pressure yet again. Pass up on the wing is batted away by Shendelev, and Blomsten has to go back for the Swedes. Blomsten gives it to Larson as Larson is chased by Khomatov. Khomatov giving the Swedes a rough ride. Oh, and a big spear in there by Blomsten on Khomatov. That's going to cost him, I'm sure. A dangerous move by big number 7.
Ackerstrom and Blomsten both gave Khomatov a lot of stick. Butseyev came in quick to help out. He can handle himself, but Khomatov was stuck twice. He really didn't do much to Soderstrom. The Swedes will be lucky to get out of this one with a minor penalty.
2 and 10. Okay? 2 and 10.
U.S. ref Bob Hearn giving a 2+10 to Blomsten. 2 minutes to Khomatov. Look at the shots coming in there. That hurts.
Well, I must say I agree with that call. Spearing, like butt ending and boarding into someone's back are probably the 3 worst offenses you can do out there. Spearing definitely is painful.
It's also the right call in a championship game. Both teams will be penalized for 2 minutes. They won't play shorthanded. The 10 minutes is a personal penalty that Blomsten will sit for.
They need him on the defense, that's for sure. He's big. He's got the good shot. But he'll be gone for 12 minutes now. So face-off in Swedish territory as the Swedes get a little rough to the right of Soderstrom. Rundqvist goes into the face-off circle. Karpov is slashing Stillman. Titov pushed it through, and Kenneth Kenholt picks the puck up. Dropping it off, Karpov goes after Rundqvist. Kenholt up to Rundqvist. Rundqvist taken out of the play, and the Russians trying to do a cute little back pass. That didn't work. Smirnov threw it over. Rundqvist goes after his man. There's no let up in the pressure from either team as they continue to throw the puck around. That took a deflection. No icing on the call. Kenholt starts it up slowly. Kenholt, long pass up the middle. Anderson unable to get the stick on it, and this time it's an icing call.
Swedes are trying to change their tactics a bit, trying to get behind the Russian defense. Pass was too long for Mikael Andersson. Swedes will have to try it again. The face-off will be near Soderstrom. Number 5 sitting in the box, Julin, serving the 2-minute penalty for Blomsten. Blomsten's got a long time to tie his skates up.
Yashin tries to get it back, but the Swedes win that, and Andersson has it now behind his own goal. Andersson peppers that into the corner as that bounces all the way over to the far side. Karpatsev couldn't keep it out. Big shot coming in. Trefilov is way out of his net, trying to get back in a hurry. A chance now for the Russians, a 2-on-1 as Andersson going back. The drop pass comes in. Kamensky took the shot. Kamensky with a golden opportunity on a 2-on-1 took the shot, and that whistled by the cage. Andersson with Dolan on the far side. Andersson again has been out there for a while, moves on to the left. Berglund follows up right in front of the goal, and the Russians pick it up and just chip it out of the zone.
Excellent back-checking by Berglund to get himself into the play. A 2-on-1 for the Russians earlier, and he really skated hard to try and make it rough for the Russians.
24 seconds on the penalties. Stillman takes his time. Swedes hit the red line, shoot it in. Naslund on this side. Forsberg went in deep. Naslund going over now, being shouted by Shendelev. Back to the blue, a shot comes in. Trefilov made the save. Right in front. Bergqvist couldn't put it away.
Good stuff from Trefilov. The Swedes finally getting something off from the blue line. They like to have the guys letting them rip from back there. Big shot taken. Trefilov can't handle that one. The rebound is there. Great opportunity for Bergqvist. Sure, he'd like to have another shot at that. He had the whole open net. Trefilov got a piece of it.
Eventually whistled down because of the glove hand palming it forward. Juszkiewicz is hit hard along the boards, and the Swedes have to chase. Both teams are back at full strength, but Arto Blomsten will sit for 10 minutes for his spearing call. The Swedes won't be short a man. That trickles down to the left of the goaltender. Smirnov is dropped by Forsberg. And the officials get in there in a hurry to keep these teams apart.
Smirnov making sure he's got two arms. You could hear that chop all over the rink. Capacity crowd, I'm sure that everybody could hear that. Big slash by Forsberg. Smirnov going down hard. Forsberg will go to the box.
So Forsberg sits for slashing. And the Swedes gather yet another penalty. Smirnov touches that up on the wing to Juszkiewicz, and the Swedish supporters want a penalty out there. Nothing happening as the Swedes go back on the defense with Popovic trying to get it through to Nilsson. That's cleared all the way down the rink as far as the blue line, and the Russians get back on the attack. Juszkiewicz will pick it up on this side. 12:01 gone on the period. Juszkiewicz slides through the circle, gets it up into the neutral zone. That's tapped up on the wing to Petrenko. Petrenko picks up a head of steam. Andersson stays with him. Petrenko still has the puck back to the blue line. Tipped through, and Popovic backhands it lazily off the boards. Andersson couldn't get it. The Swedes set up the box with Nilsson as high. The shot, or was it a pass, just whistled the near corner, and that ricochets all the way down the ice. Juszkiewicz with 55 seconds on the penalty got it into Swedish territory, and the Russians will have to chase again. Karpatsev goes back. Andersson stays with him for a moment. 42 seconds. cleared away by Sorokin. The long pass up is dropped by Butseyev. Butseyev tips it in, and Sorokin is there. Nilsson hammers that against the woodwork, and the Russians have to come out again. Still a power play for 26 seconds. Khomatov to the open wing on the far side. That's dumped in, and again the Swedes golf it out of the zone.
An excellent job of penalty killing by Sweden so far. Mikael Andersson not allowing the Russians to set it up as they come over the blue line, putting a lot of pressure on the forwards.
7 seconds on the penalty to Forsberg. Shendelev comes up slowly. Shendelev hits the blue line. We have a whistle on the play. Boy, it's difficult to hear those whistles out there.
Butseyev was about a day and a half offside.
An excellent crowd for this big final in Munich. And what they're seeing right now is that the Russians are leading the Swedes 2-0. Face-off in neutralized territory. Berglund got it over the side. Butseyev went after it. He's out there with Khomatov and Bykov. And the Swedes are back at full strength. Andersson slams on the brakes, puts it up. Berglund gathers that. He's got Dahlin on one side. Puts it back to Nylander, his shot. Berglund spins around, just couldn't get the stick to it. Nylander is in there, couldn't hang on to it, and out come the Russians. Bykov taps it back gently to the far side. Butseyev is in front. Khomatov is there, cruising up quickly is Khomatov. Khomatov now stick handling behind the goal. Berglund brings him down, and Berglund gets away with that one. Khomatov shakes off the high stick in the face, and Nylander tries to control the puck but can't. The Swedes, I feel, are struggling against this big line. Along the boards, Bykov takes out Andersson. Andersson now has a go at Bykov. A lot of pushing and shoving. 1 or 2 cross checks in there, nothing too painful. Bykov still continues to play hockey. Veritsky now stays out there. As the puck was moved along the boards, it certainly is physical out there. Andersson not giving an inch against Bykov.
Easier said than done. Khomatov and Bykov have got to be hit. They've certainly got to be checked when they've got the puck. Peter Andersson with an excellent shift of keeping them along the boards, holding them all over the place, pushing them off the puck. Bykov ends up taking the penalty for holding the stick of the Swedish player, and the Swedes will have a power play opportunity. The Swedes are the second best power play coming into the game. They've scored 7 power play goals. Andersson trying to come out of the corner. He's been doing all the hitting on the shift. Bykov holds onto his stick and pays the price.
Face-off comes out of the zone, and the Swedes with Stillman take it deep behind their own goal. Stillman right up the center of the ice. Stillman, a long flip in off the backboards, and the Swedes get in there with Bergqvist getting it back to the blue. Kenholt takes the shot, and that was blocked before it got to Trefilov. Stillman tries to get it up. Naslin is on the wing, back to Bergqvist. Bergqvist is muscled out of the plate. The Russians getting back in a hurry. Frolov is doing some good work out there. Frolov at the second attempt picks up the puck and shoots it past Kenholt. Less than 5 minutes on the period. There's the scoreline, 2-0. The Russians leading the Swedes. The Swedes now with Bergqvist. Bergqvist hitting the blue, flips it over to the far side. Forsberg takes a little time on it, kicks it along the boards, and the Russians come back in a hurry. The Russians not taking any chances, just want to kill off this Bykov penalty. Flip it in deep. Stillman drops it off at the top of the circle. Nylander's back out there. Nylander picks up a head of steam. He's got Dahlin, drops it back to the blue. Flipped over the far side. Andersson should have taken the shot at the second attempt. The loose puck is right there. Trefilov is down. He doesn't know that it was underneath him for a moment. Andersson has it at the blue. Kaminsky says, why did the whistle blow? And Rob Hearn skates over to the timekeeper's bench. Boy, was that one close.
A lot of the bounces and breaks have been going to the Swedes, but this game hasn't gone that way so far. They're finding it tough to try and get anything to happen. Trefilov gets a stick on the first shot. Berglund in there to spear at the second one. Trefilov is down and out, doesn't have a clue, but the Russians escape. Nylander given the penalty on the play. Questionable call in my opinion. Both players going hard for the puck.
Slashing is the call on Nylander. Well, we were hoping that referee Rob Hearn would let it go. In the past, we've been critical of a few of his decisions. And, well, he's down there on the ice. We're not, but it'd be nice to see this game go the distance without that many penalties. Renberg picks up a head of steam. Renberg on the off wing is taken off the play nicely by Sorokin. Sorokin gets it up. Butseyev now is poke checked. That comes over into center ice, and Petrenko drops it back. Bykov steps on the ice, and the Russians now have a man advantage. Kamensky, a long rink-wide pass, and here come the Russians. Bykov is trailing in front. The shot, Soderstrom makes the save. Rundqvist casually takes it back behind his own goal. Rundqvist will waste time with Khomatov out front. And Rundqvist finds an opening and puts it down with 58 seconds on the power play.
The Russians want to get a hold of the puck. The Swedes have done a good job of backing off, staying wide, and then rifling it down. The Russians so dangerous with the man advantage.
A long pass there is a two-liner, so we'll have a face-off with Nylander sitting in the box for 53 seconds. 2-0 is the score. Titov started it off at 1:39 in the first period. Then Nikolitin got a lovely goal on a setup by Karpov. We're going to do that again.
Nylander is certainly a guy they don't want in the penalty box. He's had 1 goal, but he's had 7 tremendous assists. 8 points. He's leading the Swedes in scoring right now.
Larson took Bykov out of the face-off, but the Russians got the shot away. Shendelev to Khomatov. Khomatov puts it up now, and Bykov drops it back. Shendelev throws it up on the left wing. Some good passes from the Russians as they set it up now. Bykov, the return pass. Khomatov was right on this side as the pass came over from Butseyev, and he was taken out of the play. Butseyev from the circle. Butseyev with an opportunity to shoot. Instead, he drops it back to Khomatov. 16 seconds on the power play. Khomatov loses that in his skate and still doesn't panic as he gets it back to Shendelev. Big shot. The rebound at the side of the net, and Nilsson is there. Nilsson finds the opening, and the power play is over for the Russians. Shendelev through neutral ice. Dolan taps it off the boards. Nylander goes up. Less than 2 minutes on the period. Still 2-0 with the Russians jumping into a quick lead here in the first period. Dolan takes his man out. Nylander got it in front. Dolan was there. Berglund was there. The drop pass to Anderson. Anderson on the left wing. Berglund taken out, but Dolan takes over as he gets around Frolov. Gives it to Nylander. Nylander looking for somewhere to go. Throws it up on the wing, and that bounces nicely for the Russians. Going down on the wing, Astrakhantsov working with Pushkov. Pushkov taken out of the place. 3 Swedes hitting their own blue. Nylander is there. Nylander tells Berglund to go to the far side, and he does. Popovich right in front. Nylander just couldn't get that on the right side of his stick to get the shot away. Nikolitin drops it back. Less than a minute on the period. Coming in is Karpov. Karpov circles, keeps the momentum going for the Russians. Karpov looking for someone to pass to, but Anderson is too strong.
Good defensive work by the Swedes. Are doing what the Russians have been doing to them. The Swedes cannot get good quality shots on Trefilov.
Big hit by Forsberg in the corner as he followed through on his check. Karpov dispossessed by Stillman. Stillman knows he's running out of time as he puts it to the far side. Dumped all the way in. Smirnov goes back after it. Just 14 seconds on the period. Stillman runs into his man. A big punch there by Karpov. Titov tried to feed it through with Sorokin breaking in front of the net. And that'll be the end of the period, and what a fast, hard-hitting period it was, but the Russians came up with 2 goals, and that's the way it ends after 20 minutes of hockey.
The Russians are doing an excellent job of containing the Swedes right now offensively.
Welcome back to the Olympia Hall in Munich for this final game between Russia and Sweden. After 20 minutes of ice hockey, it's Russia leading the Swedes 2-0.
Excellent period for Russia. 6 shots on the goal, but did they ever make them good ones? 2 brilliant goals for them. They've got a 2-0 lead. The Swedes have had 9 shots at Trefilov, but haven't been able to put anything past him.
Soderstrom could not be faulted for the 2 that went in on him. He made the original save on the first goal by Titov, but somehow it just squirted over him.
The Swedes were defensively on their heels. Titov had gotten in there. Soderstrom came out and challenged, did everything he could do. The bounce wasn't in his favor. The Nicolishin goal was a cracker. That was a brilliant play between Nicolishin and Karpov.
That's shot all the way into Russian territory. Biakin had to go deep. A quick pass up the middle is knocked down, and the Russians pick it up at the far blue line. Coming down on the attack, a nice little tip there on the D, and everyone comes out of the zone. Blomsten with that, or not Blomsten rather, Popovich with that long reach. Breaking down the play for the Swedes. The back pass is intercepted, and the Russians now get organized in their own zone. The long pass through to Butseyev is too hard for him to get onto, and the pass through middle ice is now picked up by Khomatov. Khomatov to Butseyev. He's got Biakin. Dolan stays on Butseyev, and Butseyev continues to skate in front of the goal. Eventually it's tipped away. Nylander dropped it off, and the Swedes just rattled it out of the zone. Smirnov couldn't control it. That comes over the red, and it's pushed in. Yushkevich tips it away from Nylander. And the Russians now up on the left side, coming up quickly. Nicolishin, his pass is not a good one. That comes up to Dolan. Dolan with a 2-on-2 situation. Yushkevich goes after Dolan and pushes him out of the play. Bykov for the Russians. Bykov now hits the blue. Watch this guy with heads up hockey. Long shot coming in from a sharp angle is gloved down by Soderstrom. Bykov will only shoot as a last resort out there. He is a playmaker. He's a born playmaker. This guy gets a lot of goals, but he's always looking for someone to pass to. On this occasion, there was no one free, so he went for the big shot for the top corner. But boy, can this guy find players in open spaces.
It's amazing to watch Bykov and Khomatov play together. They always look like they're cruising. You don't seem to ever see their legs going, but they're always a stride or a stride and a half ahead of their opponent. It's amazing the way these 2 guys can skate and move the puck. They find each other so well.
One of the first lessons to learn when you're playing hockey is to keep the legs moving. If you stop, then you're dead out there. You keep skating, you circle, you keep the momentum, the movement going. Coming down on the left side, a chance now for the Swedes. That came out front and was picked up with 4 players right along the goal. Petrenko has Kaminsky. That's tipped out over the blue as Yashin picks it up, gives it back to Petrenko. And Naslin went in after his man. It's tipped away. Picked up by Karpatsev. Karpatsev to the far side. He's being hassled by Bergqvist, and the Russians trying to get fresh legs out there. They got the door open. Yashin couldn't stick that one down, and it's tapped right back in. Ackerstrom on this side gets the pass in the corner. Second period action here in Munich, and if you're into numbers, this is the 41st game or the 15th day of the 57th World Ice Hockey Championships in 1993.
You must have been up all night practicing that.
I had to take my shoes and socks off to get up that high, that's for sure. So it's the last game, and it's all about gold and silver. We know that the Czech Republic have bronze after their solid victory over the Canadians yesterday, and we know that the Swiss will be in Pool B next year and will have to play off in that Olympic playoff in September. Latvia, Poland, Japan, and Great Britain will also be there. The winner will go on to join the others in Group A in the Olympics in Lillehammer in 1994.
Certainly was a disappointing performance by the Swiss. Devastating blow to go down to Pool B for them. Bill Gilligan thought he had the boys going the right way when they knocked this Swedish team off 6-4 late in the preliminary round, it looked like they'd turn it around, but it just wasn't meant to be for the Swiss this year.
Nilsson leaves it for Popovic, and Popovic gets it up. The Swedes got to string something together. Comes into the corner. Nilsson gets in there first. Nilsson tries to get it out front. A good little dive there by Nilsson to keep the puck in the zone. Some hard hitting from the Swedes along the boards. And Uhlin kept it in for a moment. Uhlin comes over to the far side. Nilsson is there too. Everyone's skating a lot harder in this period for the Swedes. Big hit in the corner. Again, it's pushed out, but it goes off a skate and it goes right back into the corner. Nilsson, a rink-wide pass right in front. Going to be a penalty on the play. As soon as the Russians touch it, they'll be called for tripping.
Bob Hearn, the American ref, pointing all the way to the Russians. Tripping is the call. Swedes really need to get something going. They haven't had a lot to cheer about in this game. The Russians not giving them any room. Biakin dumps Larson right in front of the goal. Biakin will sit for 2 minutes. The Swedes have scored 7 power play goals. They certainly need one now.
2-0 the score with Russia leading Sweden. We're in the second period live, just in case you've joined us. Berglund goes into the face-off circle. Nylander tried to get a stick on it. Nylander goes into the boards, gets his stick high up with Dolan chasing. A chance now for Beekoff. Beekoff fakes the shot, eventually lets it go through Anderson. Anderson takes Beekoff out of the play, but Beekoff keeps those legs moving. Still moving is Beekoff, but Dolan picks it up. And we have the Swedes on the break. Nylander and Dolan. Dolan in the corner, trailed by Nylander. Nylander has the puck now. Throws it back to the blue line. Popovic takes a lot of time, gives it back to Nylander. Nylander with a chance to shoot, decides to go back on his heels, puts it into the corner. And the Swedes taking a long time to set this up. Nylander trying to work out front, takes a shot, and Trefilov makes a save. And it's cleared away by Berglund. Popovic tries to get in on the backhand side and does. Berglund lost control of it. That's cleared out. Popovic will have it back at the blue. Elects to go to the right side again with Berglund. Berglund puts it into Nylander. Nylander, 54 seconds on the penalty. Nylander has a chance at goal and puts it upstairs. What was he thinking there?
The Swedes have changed their power play all around. They normally like to work the puck back to Ken Holt or one of the defensemen on the blue line for the big slap shot. They know the Russians have done their homework. The whole attempt here is for 2 players in front to be picking the Russians out of the way, and Nylander doing all the skating, trying to get a short side shot off on Trefilov.
Berglund, Dolan, and Nylander taking a break now as Forsberg goes in the face-off circle. Forsberg got it away from 23 Nikolitin, but that's shot all the way down the ice. 41 seconds on the power play for the Swedes. The shot that came from Nylander was not a good one. Forsberg just pumps that into Trefilov. Along the boards, it's Naslund. Naslund, Forsberg, Naslund. Naslund all the way back to the D. Blomsten. Blomsten takes the shot. Blomsten, who sat for 12 minutes for Spearing in the first period, back on the ice and gets a golden opportunity there to put the Swedes on the scoreboard for the first time.
Big shot by Blomsten. Traffic in front of Trefilov. Gets the skate out and the stick. Deflects the puck high. Bergqvist taken out of the play in front of the goal. Looking to see if he could get a penalty call on the play, but Hearn shook his head no.
Still a power play for 18 seconds for the Swedes as Naslund holds his man. Bergqvist goes in. He's got the puck. Ackerström is waiting on this side. Some pressure there coming from Nikolitin. That comes back. Blomsten. Blomsten fakes the shot, puts it up on the wing. And Naslund with Bergqvist out front. Still the Swedes in possession. Forsberg to Naslund. Naslin looking for somewhere to go, goes behind the goal. The Russians now back at full strength. Smirnov stays on his man, and the Russians peppering it down as far as the neutral zone. Sweden pump it back in, and they have to come out of the zone. The Russians killing off the power play. A long pass out to Biakin, a 2-on-1 break, the return pass, Biakin! Oh, and Soderstrom stayed with him and dumped him as he went across the crease. A quick break by Biakin. And the Russians showing that they have one of the quickest breaks in hockey. Rundqvist leaves that up. Anderson off the boards. Karpatsev kept it back in, and the Swedes with Rundqvist trying to bring it out. Rundqvist now hits the blue. Rundqvist at the top of the circle, an easy shot for Trefilov to steer behind the cage. That's trapped there. Dahlin takes up the position out front. Rundqvist has Sorokin on him. Dahlin taken out of the play. Renberg slides in there as Sorokin takes a high stick and gets the puck out of the zone. A chance now with 6:29 gone. And number 19 is Yashin. He ran out of places to go out there.
The Russian forwards are skating the Swedish defenseman right into the ice. Give and go hockey working for Russia right now. The puck is on a stick. It's back to the other guy. The Swedes don't know what way they're coming from. And the Russians are doing such a good job still of keeping the Swedes to the outside. If you watch the way the Russians set up, everything's inside and they just work the play to the outside. The Swedes have nowhere to go.
The Swedes beat the Americans 5-3, and then the Czechs 4-3 in overtime to get here. The Russians beat the Germans 5-1, and the Canadians 7-4. The quarterfinals and the semifinals over. The Czechs have the bronze, the silver, and gold medals are just waiting on the table to be picked up. Who will get the gold? Right now, the Russians are leading it 2-0 here in the period. Taken out of the play there was Pushkov. Back on the attack, Nilsson. He runs into a sea of red players. Picking it up is Larson. Larson hits the blue, lets the shot go. Deflected into the corner. Sapoznikov couldn't get it out of the zone. It's tapped right in. Nilsson got a tip. Nilsson picks up the puck, puts it out front. Yulin takes the shot. Trefilov. Another save.
Yulin fighting in front of the goal to get a touch. Good quick pass from Nilsson as he comes around the goal, lays it out nicely. Yulin is all tied up. He's fighting and struggling to get something on it. Fights Frolov off. Trefilov comes up big.
Good puck control by the big Swede. Took it off the skate, got the shot in. Bykov to Shendelev. Shendelev being chopped by Nylander, got it up on the wing, and that's cleared nicely out to Bykov. Bykov breaks for the net. Khomatov, Shendelev is right in there. Soderstrom gloves it down. Action quickly moves down to the other end of the rink here in the second period.
Shendelev came out of nowhere to try and get involved in the offense. Khomatov and Bykov had the play on the run. Soderstrom lucky that Khomatov hadn't seen Shendelev quicker.
Bykov into the face-off circle for the Russians. Tries to get it over to Khomatov. Khomatov is dumped by Blomsten. Blomsten just taps it along the boards. Still not out of the zone. Berglund is in there. Berglund poking. Bykov backhands it into the corner. This could be dangerous. Coming in quickly. The shot taken. Shendelev got a piece of the second attempt. They put it in the net. 3-0. Shendelev took the first shot. The rebound comes out, and the Russians again coming up big.
Once again, Shendelev in from his defensive spot, gets the first shot away. The Swedes are standing around. There's no way that they're going to recover. Khomatov right on top of the rebound. A bit of a golf swing, but he doesn't care. Soderstrom can't come up with the save.
"12 points in the competition with 5 goals, 7 assists for Khomatov. 7:49 gone in the second period, and the defending champions are struggling. Nikolitin works his way down to the right side. Shot comes in. Good save by Soderstrom. Got the right leg out there. It's still not out of harm's way. Titov drops it back. Nikolitin looking for the tip as that comes to the near side, and the Swedes now break. The long pass up by Forsberg comes to the far side. Juszkiewicz gets back in a hurry, and the Russians now with three guys hitting the Swedish blue line. Coming in, a little gentle tap in there. Nikolitin left it for Titov. Titov right in front. The loose puck is there. Soderstrom went down. Long shot coming in from Karpovtsev from a sharp angle. Karpov in the corner. Nikolitin taps it along. Kenho tries to pin him against the boards. Mikhailov, the coach for the Russians, certainly has this team pumped up from a sharp angle. Soderstrom, another one goes right across the goal. Soderstrom under pressure. Naslin puts it high, and that goes down the ice. Oh, what a spell for the Russians.
What a shift again up front for Russia. They're all over the Swedish defense.
Kaminsky up against Popovich. Anderson goes up against Kaminsky. Look at the pressure both teams applying. Kaminsky and Yashin. Yashin now. Anderson gives him a poke in the back, and the Swedes eventually get it out of the zone. And Karpovtsev whistles it right back up onto the wing. Petrenko tries to get it forward. At the second attempt, he does. Anderson is there, puts it on the wing. And Nilsson is spun around by Sorokin. Asterkontsev behind the goal. Allowed to handle the puck. Anderson can't stay on him. Asterkontsev gets a big shove from behind by Anderson. And Asterkontsev comes up with the puck again. It's almost like they don't mind being hit out there. Hit me as many times as you want. I'm still going to hang on to that puck. Varitsky throws it to the far side, and the Russians slow it down behind their own goal. What a spell they're having. Incredible offensive play from the Russians with 10:16 gone in the second period.
Everybody expected the Swedes to be coming out at the start of this game, applying all the offensive pressure. It's been absolutely the opposite way. The Russians are hungry, and they want more goals. They've popped 3 already, and they aren't finished.
Up on the wing, Sapoznikov. Nilsson fed it through. A chance, a backhand shot going in. And Jan Larsson got it away, but it really wasn't a problem for Trefilov.
It's exactly the way things have got to be. The Russian defenseman takes the body. Trefilov takes the puck. The Swedes on the move. They haven't had a lot of great opportunities. The body is taken. The puck is to Trefilov. No problem whatsoever.
4 Swedes getting back in a hurry as Larsson picks it up. Larsson goes for a skate, throws it up into neutral ice territory. That's intercepted. And Shendelev gets it up to Biakin. Biakin going for the rink-wide pass. That bounces nicely, almost set Butsayev free. Blomsten taps it up on the wing. A good little push up to Larsson. Here comes Larsson. He's got Ulin. Larsson still moves forward. A drop pass. The shot coming in from Stefan Nilsson. Again, no problem for Trefilov in the corner. Nilsson, big hit there as Shendelev got it free. And Trefilov picks up the puck with everyone in front getting the sticks up.
The Swedes are frustrated. It's easy to see. It's on the faces of all the players on the ice. They think that possibly roughing it up is going to help them. I can assure them the only way they're going to get back into this game is to score goals.
Before they can score the goals, they have to get the shots on goal, and the American referee is going for 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. 1 apiece.
Well, possibly Hearn doesn't want to let this get out of control. It's been a bit sticky at times. Nothing real serious has happened aside from the spear that was called earlier in the game on Blomsten. Two players having a good chop. Let them go and sit down for 2 minutes and think about it. 22 red, 5 yellow. You can hear Bob Hearn all over the rink saying, sit and take it easy for 2 minutes.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with that call. That's the second call I haven't agreed with. The slashing call on Nylander, we looked at it between the periods. It definitely wasn't a slashing call. That was just another day at the office.
On the other hand, where does it go from there? If both guys have given each other a good chop, the sticks are getting up. You got to look at it from Hearn's standpoint. There's a large crowd, a lot of emotion, a gold medal on the line. He's going to at least even it up.
Exactly that. Gold medal on the line. You let the play flow. Stillman picks it up, shoots it back in, and that takes a deflection. And it's a 2-on-2 situation. A chance now for the Russians. Soderstrom gets the stick to it, puts it in along the boards. And Titov working there with number 23, Nikolitin. These guys are dangerous. Stillman goes to the far side. Titov stays on him. Pumped over to the near side to Kenholt. Kenholt, with little room to move, is taken out, and Stillman picks it up. Stillman up on the wing. Dolan. Dolan is brought down. Dolan tries to hang on to it. Smirnov takes a swipe at it. He picks himself up. And the Swedes with Nylander back to the far side. Stillman takes a shot. Dolan was right there. Yushkevich was on him. Smirnov comes up quickly, hits the red, and goes for the change. Both teams trying to get fresh legs on there. They both have a man in the box.
Good pressure once again from the Swedes, trying to make something happen, but the Russians playing good defensive hockey.
Renberg brought it over the blue. He's been quiet. He hasn't been allowed to explode like he normally does on his off wing. Kaminsky couldn't get that. Popovich has it. Popovich to Nylander. Nylander with Renberg on the wing. Renberg coming down. He's taken out. Karpatsev got a tip away, and the Swedes somehow get it in the corner with Popovich on the backhand. Looking for the wraparound. Another shot comes in. Nylander has a chance now. Can't get it out front. He throws it all the way back. Anderson into the circle. Nylander is there waiting for the pass. Popovich stick-handled one too many times and lost control of the puck.
Popovich knows it as well. Not happy with himself. The big guy makes his way to the bench. Wide open was Nylander in the slot, or Popovich could have shot himself had he elected to do so a second or two earlier than trying that extra move. Popovich on the first attempt. The puck gets underneath the glove of Trefilov. His skate just happens to be in the right place at the right time. Nothing became of it. And then the Swedes kept the pressure on.
The dive here coming from Renberg, but there's no power on the shot. It goes wide anyway. Trefilov playing some solid hockey and getting a couple of breaks along the way, but that's the name of the game when you're a goaltender. You look for the odd post to help you out, or perhaps the toe when you're not expecting it. Bergqvist squeezed out of the play. Astrakansov tries to pick it up. Rundqvist presses him against the plexi and will have another face-off.
Rundqvist, who had the big goal against the Czechs to beat him in overtime, has been silenced in this game. He's primarily a defensive center, but also a very good playmaker. We haven't seen much from Thomas Rundqvist so far.
The mascot, the bully, getting right in there with the fans here in Munich. Wonder how many showers he's had today. Kenholt fed it through, a shot. Bergqvist let it ride. That one wide of the net. Rundqvist was motoring there along the boards and was knocked off his stick. Icing is the call as the Russians shoot it all the way down the ice.
The Swedes seem to be more motivated than they were in the early going. They are fighting harder in front of the goal now and having a shot or two at the rebounds. Good work from Bergqvist, fighting and struggling for a shot at the puck. It went high and wide.
"22-year-old Butseyev, who spent 3 years at CSKA before joining Philadelphia. Out there with Bykov and Khomatov. Khomatov being told to get out of the circle, along with Rundqvist. Bergqvist goes in there, and Bergqvist gets it back. Popovich takes the shot. Oh, what a glove hand save by Trefilov.
Excellent glove and a great display of acrobatics. Anybody that's into aerobics or not into aerobics probably felt pain as Trefilov went into the full split. Big shot coming from the point. Russians diving to try and get a piece of it. The legs almost at full extension for Trefilov. A great save.
Biakin motors down the side, gets away from Dahlin, but Rundqvist stays on him. Khomatov moves in. Soderstrom makes the shot. The loose puck is there. Everyone backing in on Soderstrom as Khomatov picked up the loose puck. Butseyev now takes a chance at it. Shoots it in. Popovich has to go back behind his own cage. Khomatov still skating with Butseyev. Right in front. Khomatov is there. Another slice at it, and that comes out to the high slot. Bykov, a backhander, and Soderstrom gets the stick on it. Popovich gets the clearance and throws it up the middle. All the way down the ice. Bergqvist is breaking for it, and Trefilov tries to hang on to it.
We've seen goalies victimized by the backboards more than once. Trefilov has probably been drilled and drilled into making sure he's always awake. Good action at the other end of the ice. The Russians with another attack. Khomatov and Bykov creating nightmares for Tommy Soderstrom. Anderson unable to clear it. The puck bouncing around. The Swedes finally do, and Trefilov played it nicely off the backboards and held on for the face-off.
These backboards are alive, and the goaltenders know it. Titov takes a slice at that. Renberg tried to get it back, and Karpov races up the far side. Blomsten stays with him. Karpov is agile, fast. Nicolishin is probably even faster and more agile. Nicolishin without the helmet tries to throw it in front. Titov is there, and the Russians have to go back with Smirnov at center ice, giving it to Yushkevich. Yushkevich, his clearance is gloved down by Alkerström, who gives it up to the top of the circle. Renberg, who has been quiet, breaking through. Renberg is taken out of the play. Smirnov can't get it out of the zone. A big hit there. And the American referee keeps his arm down as Nicolishin pumps it into Swedish territory. Blomsten against Yushkevich, the two big defensemen squaring off in the corner. The backhander comes into the near side. The clearance out only goes as far as Ackerström, and the Swedes are in trouble here in the second period. They trail it 3-0, less than 4.5 minutes on the period. Yashin, Nilsson takes him off the play and then just clears it out of the zone. The Swedes got to get something going. Ylin to the far side, a good pass from Ylin, and the Swedes quickly close down in neutral ice. That's cleared in. The Russians will bring it out. Yashin stands over the puck, and eventually the whistle blows. It'll be a complete change for both teams out there. One or two Swedes not happy with play so far, and I can understand it, but you really can't take too much away from them. It's the Russians who are just playing better. They are superb.
You expect problems from Khomatov and Bykov, but you've gone back to your roots a couple times, Paul. You've mentioned the Ottawa Senators needing help desperately. Well, there's a few guys in this lineup that could provide a little bit of help for them. Yashin, 19 years old. Pushkov. Shendelev is a 20-year-old. Nicolishin, 20 years old. Look at the job these guys are doing out there.
The Ottawa Senators are desperate to get Yashin over there. They're even trying to find a job for his father because the whole family are going to go. His father is a professor of forest ecology. If you're into trivia and you know of a vacancy near the Ottawa area, give the guy a call. There's certainly enough trees around there. Wonder if he can do anything about the mosquitoes. Tap up onto the wing to Nilsson. Nilsson trying to get away from number 21, Pushkov. Pushkov digs his stick out from Nilsson, and the Russians with Pushkov just tap it in. The Swedes uncharacteristically are just shooting it out of their own zone. How many times have we seen the Sweden national team take it out and skate the distance of the rink? Today they're just happy to get it out. Veritsky shoots it to the far side. Pushkov couldn't hang on to it. Here come the Swedes. Breaking quickly. A lot of Russians getting back. Ulin now takes the shot. Trefilov with Nilsson coming in the corner. Ulin is moving in with him. 4 and 5. Veritsky is back. Veritsky along the boards trying to freeze it against the kickboard. Ulin gets the big stick in there. Nilsson has it. He's worked well behind the Russian goal, but Bykov comes up with a puck. His clearance doesn't get out of the zone, and Trefilov just taps it back. Less than 3 minutes on the period. The Russians in total control out there. Kenholt fires it back in. Bykov, not a great clearance from him, but that took a nasty bounce, and the Russians come up with it. Astrakhantsov, or Butseyev rather. Butseyev got it over to the far side to Khomatov. Khomatov looking for places to go. Rundqvist stays on Khomatov. Khomatov gets away from Rundqvist nicely, brings it right out front. He's chopped down from behind, and Bykov comes in to help out. Bykov along the boards. Anderson squared him off as that came right across the goal. And the Russians keep it in. Bykov is calling for it. Big shot goes upstairs. Butseyev peppered that one at Soderstrom.
The Swedes have never been so happy to hear a whistle in their lives. The Russians are all over him. Khomatov, Bykov, Butseyev. Everybody on the Swedish team chasing and not able to hit him. Brilliant pass across from Bykov to Khomatov. That just failed. Before that, Khomatov had spun circles around Rundqvist. Now they've got the puck again. Butseyev right in the slot, lets it rip. Soderstrom gets an arm on it and saves the day for Sweden.
Still 3-0, still action coming to you live on Eurosport from the second period of this game being played in Munich. Titov stays, and the Swedes under pressure in their own zone. Shot coming in wide of the target. Renberg along the blue line looking for the puck to come his way. Renberg will chase this. Yushkevich taking it deep. Naslund follows up on Renberg, and that comes out. Blomsten to Ackerström. Less than 2 minutes on the period. Ackerström. The Swedes would dearly love to pop a goal before they go into the break, but it doesn't look like they're even going to get a shot on Trefilov. They've been struggling for the last few minutes. Nikolitin to Yushkevich. Yushkevich has Titov, gives it to Nikolitin. Karpov on this side. Karpov is taken out of the play by Naslund. Somehow got the puck on the red line. Stillman tips it to the far side. Renberg goes after his man. That comes over nicely to Karpov. Karpov fakes one way. Forsberg stays on him, puts the bear hug on. Hearn keeps his eyes open. Titov along the board. Stillman is there. Big swipe by Stillman. Right in front, the tip. Karpov missed the net on the tip. And 1 minute or 55 seconds now remaining in the period, and all the Swedes can do is shoot it down the ice. Boy, do they need a pep talk between periods. They're struggling. What can Kurt Lundmark, the coach, come up with? It's got to be something magical.
There are also a few elementary things they're doing wrong. Karpov was taken out of the play, allowed to skate right away from Renberg and get back into the picture. Karpov right in front of the goal. He had just been taken out of the play on the other side of the net, threw the puck around, worked himself right back to an opening in front. You take the guy out, you've got to hold him out, keep him out of the play for a while.
Yashin against Larson. From the faceoff, that bounces Conley for Petrenko. The wrist shot coming in. That hits a group of players as Larson goes over. Kamensky taken out by Stillman, but Yashin goes into muscle. Larson stays on him, and Kamensky falls. Nilsson picks up the puck, and the Swedes now on the break. Broken down by Petrenko, but the Swedes come back with Kenholt. Kenholt looking for somewhere to go. Nilsson is up there. Yulin couldn't handle the puck, and the Russians now breaking quickly with 3 Swedes trapped in the zone. Petrenko hits the blue line. Petrenko puts it over. Soderstrom goes down. The shot coming from the far side from Yashin as that bounces out, and the Swedes now looking for a quick break with 7 seconds on the period. The Russians just whistle it off the plexi. There goes the buzzer. Another solid Russian period. 1 goal, Khomatov putting it in at 7:49. And it stands 3-0, the Russians leading the Swedes as it's all down to the final 20 minutes.
18 shots on goal after 2 periods for Russia. 23 for the Swedes. The difference is that defensively the Russians are keeping the Swedes into bad angle shots, and the Russians are capitalizing on the chances that they get.
Certainly a fast, hard-hitting game. 3-0 the score after 40 minutes of play. We're going to take a break now, so stay with us. We have the third and final period coming up. Welcome back to the final period of this ice hockey game for the gold medal between Russia and Sweden. The Russians, after 2 periods of play, lead the Swedes 3-0. Titov started the whole thing off for the Russians at 1:39 of the first period, then Nikilishin. And in the second period, it was Khomatov getting the goal. And that's the way it stands now. This guy has a shutout, and he's really playing some solid hockey. He's had some breaks, but every goalie needs a break every now and then. I'm sure that Chancellor Helmut Kohl is really enjoying this one. He's been seen smiling up there. He's probably wishing that the German team was here in front of this capacity crowd in the Olympic Hall, but it wasn't to be. They were beaten out in the second round of the competition. Nevertheless, they played some good hockey, and we're seeing some great hockey from these two teams. To be fair, the Russians have put their game together right at the correct moment during this competition. The Swedes struggled for a while in the preliminary round, then came good, and right now they're struggling again, and the Russians certainly are playing excellent hockey. Two-way stuff. They've got the legs moving, and they're winning all the loose pucks. Khomatov on this side gets it back onto the D. Shendelev taps it off the boards, and the Swedes now trying to start things up. Going back on the D. Rundqvist taps it forward, looking for Anderson. He finds him. Again, the Swedes being pressed to the sides of the rink. Anderson tried to glove that one down as it flipped over his head. Rundqvist taps it forward, and Khomatov is down on the ice, right on the blue line.
Puck in the air, players tied up. Stillman is in there watching Khomatov. A couple of other guys get involved. The stick was behind Khomatov. A little shove sent him flying onto his back. Right on the blue line, Khomatov hitting very hard. We'll probably see more from him, but that took the wind out of his sails for a few minutes.
Double teamed by Stillman and Anderson. Renberg goes after Karpov. Yushkevich puts it to the far side. The Russians now, with 3 men hitting the blue, just touch it into the zone, and Anderson picks it up for Sweden and brings it down on the right side. Off the boards, Berglund couldn't control it. Popovich to Anderson. The passing from the Swedes has not been exact, or as exact as we would have expected. The high tip there. Anderson touches it, and so the face-off will go down the ice. Titov has 1 or 2 words with Anderson, but nothing very serious.
The way the Swedes have played their last 2 games, it would be easy to say they've come out here with not as much commitment in this one, but if you're being realistic, the Russians have just done an excellent job of showing their class. They're playing great defensive hockey. They certainly aren't short of offensive strength. They've capitalized on their efforts, and they're in control of this game right now. The Swedes are really up against it.
Yashin from the face-off. Yulin stole that, put it up on the wing. Petrenko goes after it. Out front is Kamensky. Yashin again. Yulin throws the pass out. There's no one there to pick it up. The Russians are certainly dictating the pace. Ackerstrom behind his own goal. Ackerstrom fans on the clearance and gives it right up in front of his own goal. Coming in now. Long shot. Kamensky got a piece of that. Kamensky is dumped along the boards by Forsberg. And the Swedes looking very sloppy. Forsberg back on the left wing. Forsberg, a nice move. Has he got a chance to shoot? Right in front. He takes the shot, and that goes wide of the far post. Julin taps it back along to the red line. Forsberg picks it up. Better stuff coming as Julin is brought down in front of the net. Julin comes up with a cross-check as that's shot down the ice. And the Swedish supporters do not like what happened to number 5.
Well, they don't like what happened to number 5, Julin, but I'll tell you what, he should have the penalty if there was ever going to be one called. Hearn letting the play flow. Julin got up out of frustration and really leveled the Russian player with a cross-check.
It would appear from time to time that the Swedes are looking for the perfect shot. How many times have we seen goals come in from ridiculous angles? You got to shoot that puck. Things happen. Coming in closely, Renberg tried to get it out front. The loose puck is there. Renberg swiped at it again. And now the Swedes are playing hockey. Stillman puts it over to the far side. The tip is there at the side of the goal. Anderson being chopped as he moves along the boards. A chance now for the Swedes as they bring it in. The shot goes right in. Renberg put it to the far side. The Russians touch the puck. Hooking is the call.
Swedes will have a man advantage. Something they desperately need. They got to get one goal back and chip away at the Russian lead. Renberg on the move again. Coming into the slot. Hooked out of the play. Sapoznikov, who leads the Russians in penalty minutes, will go to the box for hooking.
Well, Sapoznikov wasn't there. I'm sure they would have scored. Berglund, my co-commentator's still trying to work out that terrible pun on Sapoznikov. I'll get to you after the game, don't worry about it. 2:39, I think it suddenly clicked upstairs, and the Swedes coming back on the power play as that's rattled in off the boards. Homatov back on the ice, waiting for that to come his way, and it doesn't happen. And Shenelev shoots it back into Swedish territory. Peter Anderson taps it away. Nylander trying to get away from Bykov, puts it up on the wing. Dahlin can't reach it. That goes all the way down the ice. And the Russians give it right back to Nylander. Nylander, a good little move to get away from Bykov, but he can't get away from Homatov. That bounces nicely. Anderson takes the shot. Deflected upstairs. Yushkevich goes in there. And the Swedes applying a lot of pressure here on the power play. They've certainly come out firing on all cylinders in this third period. They have only a few minutes, or a few seconds rather, on the power play, 50 to be exact. Can they get it going?
They're applying a lot of pressure, but not getting very good shots at Trefilov.
40 seconds now as Anderson slowly up the middle. Anderson lays it off onto the far side. The shot out front to Julin. He goes back to Ackerstrom. Ackerstrom fakes the shot. And eventually it's batted down, but Ackerstrom gets it again. Titov doing a great job of playing goaltender out there. Nikolitin trying to do the same thing, and that goes through Bergqvist's skate. Bergqvist has to dump it into the corner, and the crowd are not happy with the Swedes' performance on the power play. Titov is dumped, and that squirts away from Ackerstrom. Not the most effective power play that we've seen. 1 second on the penalty, and the Russians, Sapoznikov gets back on the ice. Behind the goal, Ulin is taken out of the plate. Smirnov runs interference, and that comes back onto the blue line. And we have another Russian down and another penalty on the play.
Bob Hearn could see it all the way. He's back there in position. The puck was dumped out by the Russians. Sorokin picking himself up slowly. The Swedes are going to the box for slashing. Bergqvist for slashing.
So Bergqvist sits for 2. Let's take a look at this slash. Well, this is a good call by Hearn. One I agree with. The big one-hander comes up on Sorokin. Sorokin takes the stick with him.
Bergqvist actually broke the stick on the play.
Face-off moves outside of the zone. Rundqvist taps it over the blue. Well, Sorokin couldn't have been hurt that badly. He stays out there. Flipped up onto the wing. He just wanted to make sure that Hearn saw the slash. Karpatsev put it up. Wrist shot coming in. Yashin got a piece of it. Soderstrom is there with the save.
Hard shot kept right on the ice. Soderstrom squaring himself up, holding his ground. Gets the legs together. Has a little help from his stick.
He got a spray just as that play came to a halt, and snow and ice coming up on the visor, so he wants to clear that off. We're going to take a look now at the all-star team that has been selected over the past 2 weeks. Breeza is the goaltender, Biakin, Manson there. Renberg, Lindros, and Dahlin. Whether you agree with those first 6, that's up to you. The second team is Khomatov, Bykov, and Ricky. Gudas, Kadlec, and Ranford. Any thoughts on that?
Not at all. I think that up front, Dahlin, Renberg, and Lindros would be an absolutely brilliant line if somebody could have the 3 of them together at any one time. No question about Petr Breeza, the Czech goalie. An outstanding performance by him, as was expected. Ranford played brilliantly up until his last 2 or 3 outings. Found the going a bit rough. But then the Canadian team in general found it a bit rough.
Gudas, Kadlec on the D for the second team.
Gudas, a guy who really throws his weight around. He's a team leader. He moves the puck well enough. Kadlec had the big shot. He's the one that tied it against the Swedes. Kadlec is one excellent defenseman in my mind. I think Biakin on the first team is a good selection for sure. Manson had a couple of power play goals. I suppose he played well enough. There are a lot of guys that have put in an all-star performance.
Soderstrom has cleaned up his act. He's back in the net. And we're getting set for this all-important face-off. Rundqvist gets it back as he's done so many times before. But Kamensky breaks through. Yashin is there, and that's cleared out over the zone. 5:08 gone on the period, and is pumped right back in. Stillman will be there to ram it off the boards. A little deflection, bounces kindly for the Russians. Yashin and Kamensky work along the boards. Stillman has to help set up the box. Kamensky, the return pass, and that took an unkindly bounce for him, and the Russians have to come out of their attacking zone and go back deep. Rundqvist stays with his man as that comes up to the far side. Anderson comes out there for the Swedes. Karpatsev gets it up to Khomatov. Khomatov moves nicely over the blue line to Bykov. Bykov back skates into the hash marks. A little tip there along the boards. Bykov takes another swipe at it, still not away. The Swedes with Anderson trying to mix it up. Anderson and Khomatov. Anderson kicks it free and tries to get a glove on it. A good save there by Soderstrom. Another attempt by Butsayev, and that comes up for Popovich. Popovich will go for a skate and then backhand it down the ice. 21 seconds on the power play.
Bykov and Khomatov are like fleas on a dog. Peter Anderson trying desperately to get the puck out of the zone, and 27 and 15 in red all over him.
Khomatov sets it up. A little pass through. Butsayev is there. Where was Blomsten? There's going to be a penalty on the plate. Holding is the call, but where was Blomsten when Butsayev was taking pokes at Soderstrom?
2-on-1 again. The Russians all over the one Swede who's anywhere near the puck. Butsayev putting the grab on number 7 Blomsten's stick. And Butsayev will have 2 minutes to sit down for holding.
Back to the live action. That replay we saw from German television was not the holding call. Biakin was just roughing it up along the boards, but a break now, a chance for Yulin, shoots, and that goes upstairs. Yulin has had so many opportunities in this competition to score a goal, but 9 times out of 10 he just can't put it over the red line. The Swedes at full strength. Yulin with Trefilov way out of his net. Titov got a lucky bounce that ended up on his stick, and he golfs it down the ice. The Swedes back at full strength, started up now. Thrown up onto the right wing. 5 guys hitting the blue line. A long shot comes in. Bergqvist got a piece of it, but so did Trefilov. 7:33 gone on the period. Stillman back 3-0 for Russia over Sweden. Time ticking down. The Russians maintaining the pressure. Berglund offside the call. 2 American linesmen working with an American referee.
Look at Butseyev in the penalty box, anxiously awaiting to get back on the ice. Trefilov trying to play defenseman earlier, nearly got caught. A lucky bounce for Trefilov and Titov as they cleared the zone. The Swedes have got to capitalize. They need one now. They're down by 3.
They've certainly got the crowd behind them. Berglund tried to tap that through. Shendelev sent it all the way down the ice. 47 seconds on the penalty to Butseyev, and the Russians send a man forward in Bykov. Bykov, such a good two-way player, as that's whistled all the way in. Khomatov is out there too. What a surprise. Anderson flips that along the boards, and it comes back to the blue line. The Swedes need to take a few shots. That trickles through. Dolan was right in front. Trefilov getting in front of it, and Nylander put it back to the high slot. That's thrown over to the far side. Khomatov is trying to throw out the old stick and get the pass to him. Nylander right in front. A chance for Berglund as he gets it back, but no one there to pick up the puck. And the Swedes are having problems with their power play. 4 seconds on the power play. Anderson is there as Popovich falls. Boy, when nothing goes right, nothing goes right.
Absolutely not. Popovich tripped over his own feet.
Butseyev broke right in, was allowed to take the shot. Soderstrom came up with a save. Khomatov just dumps it into the zone off the boards. Nylander has Anderson. Anderson tries to get it across the rink, and Yushkevich taps it down. Yushkevich pushes it away from Rundqvist to the far side. Rundqvist skates hard to go to get it, and that doesn't work. Stillman goes back forward for the Swedes, and the Swedes still unable to get the big shot on goal. A rink-wide pass. Ken Holt. Stillman up on the wing to Rundqvist. His pass is a good one. Shot coming right in. The rebound is there. Trefilov for the second attempt, the third. Ackerstrom, Renberg. Renberg is there. Hearn is saying no, no. Renberg is saying yes. They want to talk to the goal judge. Renberg doesn't even want the referee to talk to the goal judge.
Action coming at Trefilov. Renberg with a good attack. The initial save is made. Anderson is in there. Trefilov makes a second save, then a third. He's got help from his defenseman in front of the goal. Shendelev is trying to help him out. Now Renberg's in there spearing and hacking at anything or anybody that he can get near. Hearn in a tough spot as he's the guy that's got the final say. The puck is just outside the red line. Shendelev pouncing on it. If it's not a goal, it could very well be a penalty shot. The Swedes want a goal. They're certainly going to celebrate. It's up to Bob Hearn.
Goal judges Nyberg and Bracach have got a tough job, but it doesn't get any tougher than this. Hearn talking this one over with the goal judges, and he needs a translator to come in because Nyberg and Bracach, who work the goal judging positions, are German. They don't speak English. Hearn speaks American. Well, I guess that's partly English. But they're
okay, so it isn't the Queen's tongue, Paul Ferguson. But let me tell you something. It's pretty much universal, goal or no goal. What have we got here?
Exactly. The indication from Hearn is yes, it's a goal. The Swedish fans go crazy up there. It's been a long time in coming. It wasn't the nicest of goals. You won't see it in the textbook. Bekoff is having words with Hearn. He doesn't think it should be a goal. Renberg thinks it should have been. 2 seconds after it went over the line.
I'm out of this one. I didn't see it actually cross the red line, so I'm not going to say one way or the other.
A difficult decision for the officials. Let's look at this again. It's underneath the defenseman. Renberg, Rundqvist. It's got to be a goal if he's pushed over and it's underneath his back or his backside and he goes in there. If the whistle hadn't blown,
it would appear so. Shendelev's shorts, or at least the majority of his equipment from the upper body up, were in the goal. The puck was underneath his bum at the time, and it looked as if Renberg was poking at it as it was already in.
9:40, 3-1 the score. Dahlin, Nylander takes the shot. Trefilov. Berglund is right there as that comes out, and the goal has certainly motivated the Swedes. Renberg getting credit for the goal. Anderson pumps it to the far side. Nylander tips it up. Dahlin is there with him. And that's shot away by Pushkov at the last moment. A big hit on the far side. Dahlin moves in. Dahlin being shadowed by number 8, Prolov. Berglund out front. Nylander on the backhand, on the forehand. With Berglund camped out on the near side, they just couldn't get the shot away. And the whistle blows. Nylander has had so many opportunities, but he's been unable to get the clear shot. He's been circling, ducking, and diving, and unable, as I said, to pepper the puck at Trefilov. Try to spot the empty seat in his hall. Standing room only as Kenholt with Anderson on the wing. Still with Kenholt. Feeds it up to the far side. Anderson breaking at center. Gets the tip and that goes down. Yushkevich pushes it up to this side to Karpov. Anderson, or Rundqvist rather, hits Karpov and feeds it into Anderson. Yushkevich muscles again, and the Swedes now with 3 guys in the corner try to set it up. Nicolishin on the far side. Nicolishin gets it past Kenholt, and that comes deep. Popovich. Pushed away from Popovich. 3-1 the score. The Swedes trailing by 2. Bergqvist gets on the ice now. Motors up on the right side. Here comes Popovich. He picks up a head of steam. Goes for Ylin on the left side, and the pass was just a stride in front of him. Icing will be the call. You can see that they're looking for those quick breaks. They got to get some shots in on goal, and the Swedes are being taken out of the play just on the blue line, so they're going for the quick break, trying to set that man free.
When the Swedes change on the fly, the one of the last guys to come out is staying out high, skating a little circle and trying to get behind the Russian defense. The idea is right to throw the long pass up. Also, the Swedes defensively, Kenholt a couple of times on the last shift stayed right on the blue line. The Russians aren't going to skate through the guy. They got to lay it off the boards and try and get it, and he's not the easiest guy to get around. They're really starting to play better hockey now.
Yashin tried to get it through to Kaminsky. Anderson had something to say about that, but the Russians keep it in the zone. Petrenko took a swipe at it and eventually comes out to Sorokin. Sorokin rattles it off the plexi. Petrenko right in front. And the Swedes now back on the attack. Quickly up on the far side. Ylin takes in front. He fans on the shot. The second attempt goes in his skate. Less than 5 minutes on the clock. A breakaway going in. Petrenko can't score on Soderstrom. Petrenko at the side of the net. Anderson ties him up. Yashin up there with Kamensky. Now Khomatov steps on the ice. Anderson bringing him down. Bergfest feeds it in. Yashin. Butseyev is right there. And Soderstrom with Anderson eventually pouncing on the puck. Butseyev, Yashin. Just about everybody on the Russian team taking a swipe at that puck.
19-year-old Yashin creating problems for Soderstrom. He hasn't had a shot in quite a while, as we said before. The Russians turning it around with a great opportunity of their own. Petrenko in tight, can't do anything with it. His shot goes off the side of the goal. He waited a bit long to make his move.
A lot of pressure coming from the Swedes, and just when they didn't expect it, the Russians broke with Petrenko. Dahlin is hit hard, and Butseyev goes back and feeds it back to the blue. Not a great return pass, but the Russians pick it up. Coming up to the final 4 minutes of the game, Khomatov, a pass over to the far side. Ken Holt goes back, the loose puck on the side of the net. That comes kindly for Dahlin. He feeds it up a break now, one-on-one situation. The shot coming in. Yushkevich got back and broke that play up, and now the counter comes the other way. Bykov tries to take his man out. Butseyev is there along with Khomatov, and 3 Russians are trapped in the zone. The long pass up on the wing, and that goes all the way down the ice. This one is opening wide, wide, wide here in the third period.
The Swedes going for the puck carrier, allowing Butseyev and Khomatov to nearly get a goal, then quickly cleared the puck as that didn't come off. 2 Swedes on the move, but the Russian defensemen backing off nicely, not backing in too deeply, but backing off nicely and holding their positions.
Mikhailov on one side and Lundmark on the other, trying to keep the boys up for this one, trying to tell them, hey, don't give away any silly penalties or any silly pucks out there. The last thing you want to do is hand the other team a goal. Titov in the face-off circle with Forsberg. Popovich gets the puck and taps it over to this side to Anderson. Back to Popovich. Karpov stays up. Karpov now comes back with Forsberg hitting the red, hitting the blue. Forsberg has got Bergfist over. Bergfist goes to one way. That comes back to Anderson. Anderson being pressed. Uline is out there, and Bergfist is in front of the net. The Swedes still unable to get the good shots away. A bring down there. And the Russians come down with a 2-on-1 situation. Yushkevich, great defensive stuff from Anderson. Good work as he gets it up to Uline. Less than 3 minutes on the period. Hearn not calling the penalty when we'd expect it. Karpov going in on the backhand side. Popovich stays on him. And Yashin will just play with it. Forsberg goes after him. Anderson goes in to tidy things up. Anderson, who's been playing a whale of a game for the Swedes, does it on his own. Anderson up to the blue. Dahlin is out front. Dahlin being messed up. Dahlin, the loose puck is there. And Dahlin had a stick up high. Trefilov went down low.
Peter Anderson wants a gold medal, no question about that. He's been on the ice for ages, defensively breaking up a 2-on-1, then carrying the puck the full length of the ice, trying to set something up for Dahlin in front of the goal. Dahlin taken out of the play very nicely by the Russian defense. Trefilov allowed to cover. Sorokin back there to make sure that Trefilov had help.
What a finish to this gold medal game. It's still not over yet. 1 or 2 bits of debris on the ice as a timeout has been called by the Swedes. Let's take a look at the action as Popovich was brought down. That's when the Swedish fans wanted the penalty.
Popovich waited a bit long to get rid of the puck. The Russians so quick to pounce on it. You're going to expect 2-on-1s when the Swedes are trying to press the attack and they've got 3 men caught deep.
Before this competition, Mikhailov, the Russian coach, was coaching 2nd Division hockey in Switzerland. He answered an ad for the top job in Russia, and he got the job.
A lot of pressure both coaches have come under. They're both following very, very successful mentors in ice hockey. Connie Evensen, the past Swedish coach, has had a great career. Lundmark follows him. Tikhonov for Russia, and now Mikhailov is the man on the spot.
Soderstrom takes his position on the bench. The net is wide open. 6 attackers out there for the Swedes. Rundqvist from the faceoff. That bounced as far as the blue line. The shot. Dahlin is out front. Trefilov dives on it. Another faceoff with Forsberg getting his arms and stick up, having words as well.
Dahlin with 5 goals in the games. The leading goal scorer for the Swedish team. The most goals, that is, 7 points for him. Right in front of the goal, Sorokin has obviously been told to glue himself to him, taking him out very nicely.
Renberg is also out there. This guy is a mountain of a man. 6'2", 185 pounds. Rundqvist, a big center. He's been called on to get the draw.
The Swedes saw the Czechs do it to them with 6 men on the ice.
Ken Holt with a shot. That took a deflection. Out over the blue. Ken Holt races back for it. The net still wide open. Up on the wing. Dahlin breaks into center. A chance now. Homatov works it free. Homatov trying to get the shot on the open nets. 2 minutes remaining on the game. The Swedes trying to pick it up. A little holding on Homatov as the Swedes move it down on the right side. That bounces over a stick. Shendelev rattles it off the boards. A chance now for the Russians if they shoot it all the way down. And that'll be icing. Hey, what are we taught when we're kids? Get over that red line first. And at least if you miss the net, it's not going to be icing. Big, important face-off now in Russian territory.
Yeah, but it's Komatov and Bykov on the ice. Isn't it okay if they do it?
It certainly is. It doesn't matter who does it. I'm sure the coach will have words. We don't want to face off in our zone. No one is leaving this building as we get set for this face-off deep in Russian territory. The Swedes go out slowly. They know what they got to do. The Russians want to win the draw, get it back, and get it out of the zone. Rundqvist, the seasoned campaigner, 32 years old, who's looking for a spot in Switzerland next year, is out there with the all-important face-off. He doesn't get it. Smirnov pounces it off the boards. It's not out. Anderson takes the shot. The rebound is there, but Trefilov gloves it down. And that's how much the Swedes want a goal. Dahlin goes right in over the goaltender. Renberg mixes it up behind the goal. Titov wants blood out there.
Titov has had an outstanding tournament. Probably about to sign an NHL contract of his own. Has had brilliant goals and also proving that he can defend himself, not taking anything from Renberg. Trefilov knows it's all going to be coming his way. When he makes a save, he knows the yellow shirts are going to be all over him.
Renberg gets a call for holding, and Yushkevich goes as well, so at least the penalties are leveling things up out there.
The only thing Renberg's holding is his own stick. He wants a goal.
Time running out for Sweden. They're trailing at 3-1. Both teams with a man in the box. The face-off stays in the Russian zone. So cross-checking to Yushkevich, holding to Renberg. That's flipped high all the way down the ice, and the Russians trying to get the shot on goal. That goes over the red line. The American linesman was right there to call it. Another icing call. It'll take a few seconds off the clock, but it'll mean another big face-off in Russian territory.
An excellent job by the linesman. He was going down the ice just as fast as Nikolishin was to make sure that the puck got over the red line. The Swedes with Rundqvist need to win this draw. They've got the guys that can shoot the puck, but the Russians have done a good job of tying them up on the face-offs.
Ken Holt, the big defenseman, is going to stand in front of that net. Rundqvist wins it, back to Anderson. Anderson fakes the shot. Ken Holt took the shot, and that just whistled by. Took a slight deflection and missed the far post by inches. Ken Holt on this side, but it's dropped back to the far side. The Russians push everybody forward, and the net still wide open. Titov trying to poke it through. Less than a minute on the period. Bergqvist looking for somewhere to pass it. Nikolyshin comes out. He's poke checked. The Russians hang on to it, hit the red line, and this time they get it down the ice, and it won't be icing.
The Russians killing off precious time for the Swedes. The Swedes are the man advantage with that goaltender on the bench. Just want to get the puck into the Russian zone.
Anderson to Rundqvist. Rundqvist, not a great pass, but Rundqvist somehow picks it up again. Bykov is there. That'll go off the boards, but not out of the zone. Anderson peppers it back in, and that took a deflection. Anderson fakes the shot, throws it to the far side. They can't waste any more time, and Trefilov comes up with the save. Again, we have the team squaring off in the corner, and again, the American linesmen go in to separate.
It's like wrestling out there right now. Trefilov receiving an extra shot as he made the save. Rundqvist with the tip-off Ken Holt shot. Action fast and furious around the front of the Russian goal. Trefilov holding his ground. He'll stay down there all day as long as he knows the puck's with him.
An excellent job from Trefilov as the Russians call a timeout. Petra Vorobiev, the assistant coach, and Boris Mikhailov, the head coach, get into the huddle and give instructions on the defensive play out there. Mikhailov to Bykov, but what do you tell Bykov? He's seen it all before. He's been here with Tikhonov, the best coach in the world. He knows exactly what to do. He's not going to do anything silly. He's been under pressure before. What do you do if you're a Swede out there on the ice? Most important thing, of course, is to win this face-off. You got to shoot in a hurry. You don't only have to score one goal, you got to score two.
That's right. They certainly aren't going to be passing the puck around all day. They know they've got to win the draw. They've got to get a quick shot and keep doing what they're doing. They're not doing anything wrong. Once they get the puck into the Russian zone, they're getting some great shots. Ken Holt's had a couple of good opportunities. They've just got to keep pressing the action. They're running out of time.
18 seconds on the clock. Anderson got it back. Anderson fakes the first shot. Ken Holt tees it up, takes the shot, and that's deflected away. Anderson again peppers it along the boards. The Swedes looking for the big shot. Anderson comes in as the clock winds down. Trefilov makes the save with just 2 seconds to go in the game.
Good job by young Shendelev in front of the goal, number 22, the 20-year-old defenseman who's got a career in front of him. Taking Dahlin out of the play, making sure that he's right where he should be. Trefilov able to hold on to the puck.
Trefilov has got to be one of the men of the match. He certainly has kept the Russians in this one. A lot of close-in stuff coming from the Swedes. A chance with 2 seconds on the clock. The Swedes are going to pick up silver. An excellent performance from the Russians. After tying the first game 2-2 against the Italians and then losing to the Swedes and losing to the Canadians, they've come back in a big way to pick up the gold. The Swedes get the silver and the Czechs get the bronze.
Well deserved by the Russians. They've got to be given credit where the credit is due. They've played very tough. A real class act. Coach Mikhailov has got a lot to be proud of. A product of Tikhonov himself, now behind the bench with a shirt and tie on, has won a gold medal.
All the Swedes can do is look on as we take a look at the moment after the buzzer went. Oh, do you think they're happy? That's gold. A lot of these guys will be moving on to the National Hockey League. They may never get a chance to play for the Russian national team again. And so they're going to take this moment and live it over and over again. The final score up on your screens, the Russians defeating the Swedes 3-1.